sat in front of a camera and actually filmed in a long time. I did a lot of batch videos for September, but this is literally the first time I'm actually going to slow things down on my channel and do one video at a time. So it's been a minute. Please bear with me. I got this microphone from Amazon for like 25 bucks. It's the same thing that unusually Eric uses because obviously I was being cheap. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, please let me know in the comments below. Or at least how to use it. Because I think you just got to plug it in and use it. I don't have the headphones attached to it, obviously. Hopefully this is working. But anyway, this video is going to be about Drew, Adam, with a hint of Audra because we have to add in the matriarch of this very interesting family and really dive into why is Drew literally dating everyone that Adam likes or has dated. So I like to do a little bit of a table of contents just to get you guys prepared for these kind of videos because they can be lengthy and you probably just want to skip to a certain point, and I don't blame you. We're just going to introduce Drew and Adam as characters. We're going to talk about My Body is a Cage episodes 1 and 2, so there might be a little bit of a trigger warning, but I won't be going into like the complete details of the episodes. So just letting you know now, it's just more so like the information from the episodes and how they flow in context to the situation, because it really was a catalyst, to be quite honest. Then we're going to talk about dating and flirting plus popularity. So starting off, we have Drew and Adam Torres, who are brothers. Drew is the pretty boy. He is the older sibling, but he's not academically gifted in any type of sense. He is really focused on sports. He's a football player. He is a player in general, if we're going to be completely honest. And he's played by Luke Billick. Adam, on the other hand, he's transgender from female to male. He loves video games. He is the younger sibling, a pretty good student. He's a very loyal character and is played by Jordan Todesey. If the name sounds familiar, it is. Jordan Todesey played Marcy, I believe her name was, over on Life with Derek. So that's just introducing the characters. Now let's jump into My Body is a Cage. Prior to Adam's episode, we vaguely see their dynamic between them. They have typical sibling behavior. They're very joking with each other, but they're also protective and supportive of each other. Adam was bullied at his other school for being transgender. So this is a new start for both of them, a fresh start. And there's still a hint of, I would say, anger or even just a little bit of frustration from Drew with changing schools, because he felt very comfortable at his old school. He was very popular at his old school, and he didn't feel the need or didn't understand completely why they had to change schools. He gets that Adam is transgender, but it just felt unfair to him, which valid. You're a teenager, you're still experiencing different changes in life, and now having the changes within your family and different dynamic that you've never been exposed to before. It's a huge shift for not only the family members of the person who's transgender, but also the person who is transgender. So it's a huge adjustment for everyone when it comes to switching schools and just experiencing life as if they're having a reset. So Audra is really focused on having this picture perfect family. So when her mom comes to visit, I believe it's her mom. I don't remember if it was Audra's mom or the dad's mom, but I believe it was Audra's mom that came to visit, because Adam just said grandma. We don't know from which side. But Audra is very adamant that Adam becomes Gracie again, just for the visit with grandma, because it's a huge shift for a grandparent to understand, I guess, and Audra just wants to continue to portray this image as if her family isn't quote-unquote broken or has quote-unquote changed. She's having a hard time adjusting to the fact that Adam is transgender. And we also see that Adam used to harm himself when he was Gracie, so as he's fighting to not be Gracie for his mom, when he does switch to make it easier for everyone else around him, he actually starts to hurt himself again. I won't say in context what exactly he did because I don't want to trigger anybody, but there was a lot of self-harm. She really battles with what she wants versus her son's needs and mental health. She really wants to portray this, like I said, this perfect image of a family with no huge changes. The dynamic is exactly the same while allowing her son to suffer with this experience of going back to a person that they've never been. Like it's not where they feel comfortable. So with Adam using self-harm, probably he was extremely depressed at the time and just really wanting for someone to understand him. Audra is putting herself and her family above Adam's mental health, really. And she kind of brushes it off a lot in these episodes. And it's really jarring to see, of just watching the actress who plays Audra, I don't know her name, I'm not looking it up, and her behaviors, so like shaking her head or turning away whenever Adam wants to have a conversation, really, especially when they are in front of the store, because they had some clothes outside for one of the scenes, and Adam pulls out a plaid shirt while his mom pulls out a girly shirt, and Adam immediately is like, no, why do I have to do this? I don't want to do this. Why can't I introduce grandma as myself? And you see Audra literally like hold her head down and shake her head. She's literally fighting herself, and also fighting herself in the sense of fighting what is going on in her head and what she wants to say versus what is appropriate to say to her son. So I don't think Audra is transphobic, but she's struggling a lot with what is appropriate to say and that won't trigger Adam, but at the same time she's triggering Adam by trying to convince him to be someone that he's not. And she really puts on blinders as if that's not what she's doing, and the fact that Adam is constantly putting it in her face and telling her like, no, I'm not doing that, I want to be myself. She's trying to, literally, she's like, nope, I don't know what you're talking about. You're silly. Like, not even like I would say gaslighting Adam, but really just being dismissive of Adam, of who he is and how he wants to present himself. So prior to the episodes, it seems as if a lot of the tension has been on Adam because they have switched schools because of Adam experiencing bullying. And from that, it seems though, at least from the perspective of Drew's, if you're thinking of it from Drew's perspective, that's a huge shift in normalcy in a way for him. What was normal was Adam being Gracie, or even when Adam finally came out. But still, the normalcy of being popular at school, being at school, having this certain life that he's always had, and now having to take those rose-colored glasses off, kind of, or at least taking those blinders off and actually seeing what Adam was experiencing while Drew is in his own world. So this huge shift to going to Degrassi, it causes Drew to kind of having to steer his focus less on himself and more so now on Adam. But he doesn't want to blame Adam for this huge transition, but in a way there's probably some underlying frustrations because of Adam and this complete shift to coming to Degrassi from the life that he was so completely comfortable with. At the end of My Body is a Cage Part 2, Drew was really excited to burn Gracie's clothes, and it kind of feels as if Drew had shifted his frustration from Adam to Gracie. And it kind of really puts it in perspective of maybe the whole time when it comes to, from Drew's perspective, it wasn't Adam that he was frustrated with. It was the fact that Adam didn't feel comfortable being somebody else. And so Drew could possibly feel uh, excited to get rid of what made Adam struggle so much. So it's kind of like a sense of protection for his brother now. He probably had protected Gracie, but now having Adam, he's becoming protective of Adam and who he is, and anything that kind of disrupts that. As we're introduced to the characters, as we're introduced to Drew and Adam, and just how Audra plays a really big role when it comes to as a parent, but also as someone extremely involved within the school. We see that she has Adam's safety in general, but at the same time, she is very hypercritical of Drew. So it's a very interesting dynamic between them, of just being protective of Adam, but also being critical of Drew at the same time. And it's not even like being hypercritical of Drew in the sense of what has to do of it being related to Adam, but mostly just Audra in general. Like, we just get this sense of Audra where she's perfectionist pretty much. She wants to have the perfect image of the family, and she's probably really hell-bent on making sure everything looks as perfect as it seems and making sure everything is in order to her. So the fact that she now is processing having a transgender child, it's a huge shift from her, from the image that she had, which is just, oh, one boy, one girl, husband, that perfect family life. And then having also with Drew on the other end, we know that Drew's not academically gifted whatsoever. And so maybe Audra is kind of compensating for that by being so hard on Drew, to at least have somewhat of a perfect image of, like, instead of having the daughter and the son, to having two smart kids, period. And so with Drew's focus on everything else besides education, she really harps on him to have a good education. But it's the image that Audra constantly wants to portray that is constantly had been changed, at least from her perspective. So she feels as if she has to kind of really navigate that space and really tweak it as best as she can to get the image that she wants to portray, but also have the family image that she wants to have personally. We don't know Audra as like a person deeply. We don't really know any of these parents on like a deep level, but it feels as though that's what Audra is really getting at. And because she's critical of Drew, she is now pushing him to different standards than what I don't know if it's what she had before, but just different standards. Because as we're introduced to Drew, she's putting him in classes that are way above his grade level and pushing him academically, but she's not being supportive of him academically. Like, she's just constantly trying to push this image, and it's not working. So while Adam is getting the positive attention of kind of like a nurturing aspect, as much as Audra can be nurturing, because she really can't be all that honest, but as nurturing as she can be, she's giving that more to Adam than she is giving that to Drew. So Drew is pretty much seeking positive attention because he's getting a lot of negative attention from his mom. He has a typical sibling attention from Adam, so that's not really something to put in when it comes to Drew's situation and how everything plays out. And we don't know about the dad. We don't know if his dad is like Audra or if he's more lenient. We have no idea. So all we have to go off is how Audra communicates and how she builds relationships with her sons. And with Drew, she is constantly judging him, which makes sense because she judges the girls too. Like, we can say she's a boy mom, but she's not a boy mom in the sense of she coddles Drew. For me, that's not how she's doing it. She's very much a judgmental boy mom, very much so putting him on putting him up on not even on a pedestal, but putting him up higher than where he is academically, and just different expectations. She might just really have high expectations, and it's not working out when it comes to how she communicates and parents Drew. So from Drew's perspective, he could probably seek a lot more of a nurturing and positive attention. So he dates often, and he probably gets a lot of that from the other girls. Girls are like, oh my gosh, Drew, you're so handsome. Oh my god, he's such a good football player. But whatever sport he played, probably before Degrassi, like, oh my god, he's like the hottest guy at school. All that kind of stuff. He's getting all that positive attention. He's getting all the affirmations of like how great he is, how cool he is, how just how hot he is. He's not getting the validation of his academics, obviously, and that's not his focus, but the fact that he's getting any type of positive attention, it works for him. Because his mom is giving him the negative attention, so he's like, well, if I'm not smart, I might as well be good at something else. I might as well be good looking. I might as well be good at sports. And so as he's getting that positive attention and those positive remarks, he's going to continuously feed that. Learning behavior. Say, everything is related to psychology. That's how it rolls. But when that attention dissipates or even shifts, that's when he like shuts down and pushes the girls away, or at least like breaks up with them in some type of way. Like with Allie. Allie is I love my girl Allie, and Drew's okay, but Allie was so out of his league, academically speaking. So when Allie starts to help him, not even help him really, when she starts to do his work and even tutoring him, because I feel like when Allie was tutoring him, she wasn't really tutoring him. Allie is so far up here, and Drew has no way of keeping up. Like, there is no middleman when it came to how they studied. Even then, I feel like even as a tutor, you need to have like a middle ground of how the person that you're tutoring learns, and so you have to bring it to their level to help them understand. And from what we've seen in the episodes, to me, it was very much like Allie she wasn't really tutoring him in the way that he needed, that he learned the best in. It was very much factual. What is the equation? What is the answer? And Drew was having a hard time grasping those concepts and understanding how to get to that answer. And he always got the answer wrong. And she'd be like, oh, you're close. And the answer is so far off. She's trying to at least give him some type of validation, but it's not working. It's the way that she's tutoring and the way that he needs to be taught are completely different things. And also the fact that Drew already feels academically inept, that he doesn't feel as if he could be up to par at all. So he's like, why do I even try? Like, you say I'm close, but I know I'm not even close. Like, how did I get the answer to? But literally the answer is an actual like 537 or something like that. I think it was like one of the questions where he actually gave a number and the answer was not a number. It was like a statement type of thing. It was kind of like, oh, is this true or whatever? And he couldn't, I really identify what not even just the answer, but what the concept was even talking about, or at least getting him to think about the subject. So it was just completely far out. So when it came to Allie being so academically high versus him, he pushed her away because he's like, oh, you're too smart for me. No, I'm not getting validated the way that I want to be validated. So this is it. And the same thing happened actually when Wesley was trying to tutor Drew in science.
So close. It measures the acidity of a substance. In chemistry, the prefix mega is equal to 10 to what power? Wait. I know this, the millionth. Almost. It's the 6th. Okay.
Same thing. Wesley was like, oh, you're close. It's the, the 11th, but Drew said it's the 2nd, like completely off. And it's not even helping Drew by saying, oh, you're close, because he's not close, and he knows he's not close. It's not helping him at all using that sort of positive reinforcement language, because the actual answer that is wrong, that's what he's taking in more than what's close. So it's still a negative, to him it's still a negative reinforcement of like, oh, you're wrong though. It's not even like, oh, you're close, it's just a little bit off, let's work out a problem. It's, oh, it's close, but it's completely astronomically far away from what his answer was. So he just sees it as, oh, I'm wrong. So he's not getting any positive reinforcement. So he kind of just gives up. He gives up on his relationship with Allie, and we get introduced to Bianca, someone who is seemingly on his level. We have seen Bianca before when it came to KC drinking, and Bianca's like, oh, I can help out with that type of thing. So we already know where she's at on the totem pole when it comes to not only socially at Degrassi, but where she is as a character. She's already like down there. She's down there with Johnny, the kid who actually stabbed JT, other characters I can't even think of. What's his freaking name? Oh my gosh, I forgot his name that fast, and I just had it. Danny's friend, I forgot his name. The white guy. We already know that Bianca's already on that level. So Drew kind of easily just slips down there because he's not too far off. He feels like he's popular. He has friends. But when it comes to academically and high achieving, he knows he's not there. So he's more likely to connect with people who are below that high academic level, or even maybe at average. Because we heard that Casey was smart, but we don't really see all that, to be quite honest. Let's be honest here. Casey was average at best, to be quite honest. I don't know how he got introduced as a gifted character, but the Casey we had seen later on throughout the show, he was average at best, and that makes sense as to why him and Drew are best friends. So it makes sense as to how he connects more with Bianca and cheats on Allie with Bianca, because Bianca's more on his level than Allie is, and Bianca is giving him the attention that he's not getting from Allie. Allie gives him attention, but the fact that she is academically gifted, she is still superior to him, at least in his eyes, in his mindset, because she is so smart, she is so pretty, she could have anyone she wants, and she chooses me. She is going to cure cancer, but she chose me, and I'm a dumbass. I feel like that's what Drew's mindset is. So when he goes into cheating on Allie, it makes sense, because he's like, well, she's too good for me anyway, so I might as well hook up with someone who is either at my level or below me. He kind of saw Bianca as below him because Bianca was seen as easy. So he easily slipped into getting into that situation with Bianca. Makes perfect sense. Is it good? No, but it makes sense when it comes to Drew, his mindset, and the positive reinforcement that he gets from girls. Really, he gets that attention, and Allie took that attention away. She also took that attention away from him, because everyone saw Drew and Allie together, and he's probably maybe had a girlfriend or two, but he's so used to playing the field that the fact that he committed to Allie, now he feels like he's missing out on girls who would give him that positive reinforcement and who are more on his level than Allie is. So in a way, he kind of self-sabotaged himself with the whole relationship. I know that I actually got a little bit into the popularity part, but not too much. But still staying on My Body as a Cage and just the beginning of it in general, it also kind of feels like, to me, from how I was watching it, the fact that Adam transitioned, maybe Drew also felt as if he has more competition now. And so not only is he competing to have positive attention, positive reinforcement from these girls, but he's also competing against his own brother. So that's even less attention off of him and more attention onto Adam. And Adam already has his mom's attention. He probably has his dad's attention. So anyone else that focuses more on Adam than him, he kind of feels as if like everyone's going to focus on him because Adam is probably smarter than him. From what we know, we don't really know too much, but from what the show kind of depicts, Adam is smarter than Drew. He's not like a genius like Allie, not at that level, but Adam is still a smart kid. Like he was actually part of, I believe it was like the science club. Yeah, because that's when Allie actually ends up going to science club after the whole Bianca situation. Adam's there. He's on the science team. He knows stuff. So he's smart enough. So maybe Drew feels there's more competition now to get girls' attention. And then hearing other girls being like, oh my God, Adam's cute. It could be anything. We don't see it. I would have loved to have seen it because, ooh, baby, this would have helped me a lot more when it comes to like connecting the dots. But possibly that could be a catalyst for why Drew kind of overdoes it when it comes to dating girls and just being with girls in general. Water break. I feel like I talked a lot about the first topic, so let's move on to popularity. So there is no shock that Drew is the most popular guy out of him and Adam. I'm not saying like the most popular guy in school, because at the time when Drew was introduced, Riley's still the man on campus, because obviously, duh. But Drew wants to be a popular guy, and he actually got up there. He actually became popular. But there is no doubt when it comes to the actual franchise of Degrassi, there's only so many characters that are like the ultimate favorite characters, or characters that have had such a major impact that we still remember them to this day. And to me, those characters are the main three that actually we lost through some type of violence or just loss in general. And that is Cam, Adam, and JT. I feel like those three losses, those three deaths are like the huge catalyst for a lot of characters and a lot of the show, really, to be quite honest. So with Adam, he was definitely a favorite. We actually see later on, if you've seen Degrassi, hopefully you watch Degrassi. Because if you're saying, oh my God, Sierra, you spoiled it for me about what happens to Adam, then I need to tell you, you need to hurry up and just watch the show. It's on Tubi. Don't piss me off. But with how everyone had come together to celebrate Adam's life when Becky has the, I don't even know what it's called, but like the memory, the party, in memoriam for Adam, a lot of people showed up. People loved Adam, okay? And you can definitely tell. And I feel like there's a difference in popularity, also popularity in general. The definition of it is really subjective, because for me, popularity means people know you, people respect you, people like you, but they just have a ton of respect for you as a person. You're not the most loving person, but you're not the bitchiest person either. But you are the most respected because you're very authentic to who you are, and you stand up for what you believe in. To me, that's what popularity is. And Adam is more popular than Drew by my definition. I don't know what your definition is. Don't come for me. Leave that up to yourself, okay? So in a way, when really just conceptualizing popularity in my definition, it kind of feels as if maybe Drew felt like he doesn't live up to Adam. And he doesn't really measure up in comparison to Adam. Adam was very revered as this like loving character, loyal, supportive, fun, and just an all-around good guy. And for Drew, he's in his mindset, he probably doesn't feel as if he's at that level of Adam. So all of that positive reinforcement that he got from girls is still not enough. So in turn, when it comes to losing Adam, he's still missing something that makes him great. And I feel as if throughout the times that Adam starts to build connection with other girls or even flirts with them, it's as if Drew is really competing with Adam for a smidget of just genuine love, genuine respect. Because he has gotten the positive reinforcement from the girls of like, oh my god, you're so hot, but it's not genuine. He knows that they're just hyping him up. So in a way, he kind of knows that it's superficial. He knows it's surface level, but he's grasping for straws to have something that Adam has. Girls genuinely like Adam. Like if we're going back to when Adam first starts to talk to Katie, he flirts with Katie, and immediately Katie's like, oh yeah, like, you know, you're cute, like that type of thing. You really got that vibe between them, like they were actually connecting. Marisol did kind of ruin it, being like, oh, but if you're not physically a guy, then, you know, she's not into you. But you can tell just by the interactions, Katie was into him. I'm just saying, Katie was definitely into Adam, regardless of his physical body. But Katie was into him. And so from then on, with Drew and all his other mess with Bianca, I'm not going to get into all that. But Drew was at his lowest, and then Katie started to give him attention. So he latched onto that positive reinforcement because he could tell from Katie it's genuine, because Katie was a genuine person. She was genuinely a nice person. She was a little bit like straightforward. Maybe she was very straightforward and just very matter of fact, but she wasn't a bitch by any standard, because she held Claire to a high standard when it came to her article. And when it came to dealing with Marisol's the messy one. Katie was and is a genuinely good person, a good character, especially at the beginning. So she was giving him genuine attention, and so Drew latched onto that. Now Katie's focus is on somebody else who is in deep despair because of everything that Drew was going through, to be quite honest. The focus is no longer on Adam. He swooped right on in there and got the attention that he wanted, and he latched onto that. So now where's Adam? Who's he into? We don't freaking know. We don't know. It's messy. And then we get Adam and Drew flirting with Fiona, or was that prior? I don't remember. Adam were pretty much fighting over Fiona's attention, because Drew's constantly seeking any type of attention. Adam, on the other hand, he just wants someone to accept him and love him, but he has a lot of friends. So it's not like he feels as if he's missing anything, essentially, from just having a deep connection. He has deep connections. Does he want to have have a girlfriend? Yes. But it's not I feel like for Adam, it wasn't a desperation as Drew's was. Drew's is coming from a desperate sense because he's not getting that attention from his mom. Adam, on the other hand, he just wants to find love, but is not in a desperate state for it. Does that make sense? So then when Fiona picks Adam, Drew is like, yeah, he's a good guy. Like, he likes you. That's why he's being weird. Like, Drew actually steps back and lets Adam be with Fiona. He doesn't go for Fiona later on because obviously Fiona's gay. We get that. But if Fiona wasn't gay, if Fiona never came out, I would have seen Drew try something on Fiona. Like, I could have seen that could have happened if we never got Fiona's story that we got. It could have gone a different way. But later on, when Drew does move out and moves in with Fiona, you could see that he is latching onto Fiona and wanting to be close to Fiona. They are friends. I get that. But I feel like it's also him latching onto anyone who has had a genuine connection with Adam. lacking in that genuineness, in that authentic love, that authentic care from somebody. So whenever he sniffs it out, because he knows that Adam is a genuine guy with genuine love and admiration and respect, and people genuinely love him, Drew is actively seeking that, and he is constantly trying to piece together, or at least find, that genuineness that he doesn't have. And in a way, he will, in a way, it's kind of like he will latch onto it in hopes that the other person will have that genuine love and care for him back. But we don't know if he will feel that for them, but he wants that genuine validation that his brother gets, but he doesn't know how to give it back. Hopefully it makes sense. A little bit out of order, but think about Bianca. Bianca and Adam genuinely connected through dance. Like, they were laughing, having jokes, they were bonding, a genuine connection. Bianca messed that up by being transphobic and ruined everything, to be quite honest. And I don't know why Drew went after her after that experience, because Drew is so protective of Adam. He was so protective of Adam. I don't know how Drew dropped the ball on that one. I don't know how he fumbled that. I understand how he cheated on Allie with Bianca because of seeking validation, but the fact that it was Bianca who also bullied and tormented his brother, I don't get how that connected. That was something that just didn't sit right with me, because Drew is and was protective of Adam. So I don't know how he would go to someone that was blatantly disrespectful to his own brother. That's what I don't get. But the genuineness of finding, but the actual feeling of him wanting that attention, it does make sense. But that other part, that doesn't make sense to me. Y'all could have had somebody else. I don't know why y'all had to have Bianca, because it just made it messy. Because we know that Drew is protective of Adam. We know Drew loves Adam. But it felt as if Drew cared more about wanting that attention than what Adam felt from Bianca after the situation. So, thinking about it now, it's as if he placed that attention at a higher caliber than Adam's feelings about Bianca after the incident happened. So Drew is constantly seeking that attention and that validation from somebody that he's willing to accept it from anybody. And to me, that's dangerous as hell. Because you're willing to put your own brother's trauma on the line just to get some attention from some girl. That's dangerous. That's harmful. Not only to your brother, but to yourself. Because that just shows that not only are you seeking so much attention, you have literally no self-esteem, you have no self-respect, and you don't have respect for others around you either. Adam passes. Drew getting with Becky. I know, we don't want to hear it. We don't like talking about it, but it's the truth. He was literally looking for that genuine connection because Becky and Adam had a genuine connection, and Drew put his body where it had no business being. He put his lips on someone that he had no business getting in a relationship with, all because he keeps seeking this validation from everyone else instead of going within himself and doing some self-love work, or talking to his mom about the fact that she is a raging bitch. But yet he's over here constantly seeking that validation from somebody else, to the point where he has to get with his dead brother's girlfriend. And Becky didn't help either. Becky is going through some trauma from losing Adam. And from her perspective, it could literally just be the fact that this is the last person who was close to Adam. So it kind of makes sense to her of latching onto him, but also it makes her life easier. Because remember, she's Christian. She did introduce Adam to her dad and informed her dad that Adam was transgender. Now, Drew is a straight man. He is a cis hetero man. It makes her life look easier by being with him. But she genuinely didn't like him. She didn't have no feelings for him. She had no business being with him. It just made her life easier, and he was a connection to who she loved dearly. But I don't think Becky had any feelings whatsoever for Drew. It was just something that made her life easier and made it easier to process the loss because she had a direct connection to someone who she just lost and who she loved. That's it. Drew was just a placeholder. She never had feelings for that man, and Drew never had feelings for her. He sought the genuine connection, but Becky's genuine connection and love was for Adam, and Drew could not get that from her. He tried to portray it, but he could not. He tried to get it, but I feel like he could not get that from her. The only genuine love he did get was from Bianca, and then Bianca, she leveled up. Just like I said, once someone is at above his level, things shift. But the fact that he was so desperate for a connection, Bianca was the one to end it, and now Drew became extremely desperate for anyone to give him genuine connection, which is why we got the rest of the mess at the end. Which is why he hooked up with Claire. He's just looking for some type of genuine validation, and he's not getting it. He had it with Bianca for a while, then she leveled up. She went to school, she got her education, she got to see something, got to experience life outside of Degrassi, outside of him. And that, essentially, in a way, he got sad, but I think deep down, that pissed him the fuck off. And then Claire's over here crying over Eli after that whole experience. This is the Thanksgiving episode, sorry. And he ends up kissing Claire because he's still seeking so much validation. And it's so sad because this character is just so desperate for any type of genuineness that he's willing to fuck over his own dead brother, and even before Adam died, to even fuck over his own brother to have some type of genuine connection. Oh, Drew, he gives me a headache. So to perfectly wrap it up with a cute bow, a very depressing bow, Drew desperately just wants to have a genuine connection, and he was seeking it out from anyone that would give that to him. And it happened to be the people who genuinely had love and deep connections with his own brother. His brother got that genuine connection, that genuine nurturing from his own mother that he didn't get. He got the hypercritical side of Audra because she was constantly berating him, constantly judging him, talking shit every chance she got. I feel as if, like, the only time that she did become, like, a genuine, like, mother figure to Drew was when she was trying to convince him and Bianca to not get married right away. That was the only time. And even then, at the beginning, when it first started off, she was very hypercritical, very judgmental. And when Adam called her, that was, like, the only sliver of a moment that we got where she was actually, like, a nurturing mother. But other than that, we don't get that side of Audra for Drew. We get the judgmental side. We get the pusher. She's very, I can't even describe it, but she's put so much of that, like, that gentle care and nurturing towards Adam that she did not give it to Drew. And so Drew sought validation and genuine connection from whoever would give it to him. And then as soon as that genuine connection was above his caliber, above what he was able to give back, it feels as if Drew wasn't truly capable of giving the genuine love and connection for anyone because he wasn't receiving it and he didn't know how to give it. And so with Bianca, it feels like a lot of it was just clinginess, because that was the closest he could get to that type of genuine care. Also, because Bianca was trying to pretty much, she was pretty much looking up to Audra too. So it's just a very weird energy when it comes to that side of the situation, when it comes to Drew. But it feels like as if he just really lacked that genuine love and care from his own mother, so he sought it from other places instead of going inward and healing. To sum it up, Drew just needed therapy. Like I said in my video, I think it was in my matching videos. Was it matching? Couple match videos. I said that Drew should have been by himself. I really do mean that. Drew just needed some damn therapy, okay? When you really break this down, and as I'm filming this and as I was writing down my notes and actually like putting myself in each character's shoes from what they could have been feeling, and how the show kind of portrays that, or maybe there were some things that there were any gaps, anything that I could fill in from how what my perspective is. He just needed therapy. He needed therapy, and he needed to talk to his mother, like have a genuine conversation with his mother. But Audra, I feel like Audra would not have been capable of doing that either. She would have been extremely difficult to talk to because she was defensive, she was combative, and she would always steer the conversation towards his academics. She would not give him the time of day. She did not. Whatsoever. But yet she portrays herself as this extremely caring mom by being part of the school board. Her image does not match up with what she actually does. Literally how she portrays herself and who she actually is does not match whatsoever. She was so much up at that school. I understand for the time that Adam was attacked, but the other times when it came to everything else going up at the school, she was more up there for the school and for the school standards than she was there for Drew and actually genuinely building a mother-son connection with him. Audra is just a character who is so obsessed with image, not only of herself, of her family, and the school that her sons go to. But when it comes to actually having those genuine connections with the teachers at the school, with having a communicative relationship with Principal Simpson, because she's very combative with him as well, and very, very much just very aggressive. And when it comes to her kids, she does not have a genuine connection, bone in her body. So Drew seeks it from anyone else. And I don't blame him, but he does need to take accountability he did need to take accountability as a character, and knowing that what he was doing was not only harming himself, but harming the girls. He was a teenager, and I get that. And I hope if they ever do like a Degrassi movie, like in the future, like 10 years later, hopefully Drew is in therapy. Because my God, to deal with a guy like that in high school would have been a fucking nightmare. I'm just saying, for all of the girls that got involved with him, even Bianca, you loved him, you cared for him, but it was a nightmare. That's just my perspective of Drew as a character and how we got to where we got to, and why he actually went after Adam's girls like that, Adam's girls, and why he actually went after girls that were interested in Adam, or girls that Adam actually dated, is all stemming from Audra. That's really where it all comes from, at least from my perspective. When doing this research and really just thinking of Drew as a character, thinking of Adam as a character, and Audra as a character, it all stems from home. A lot of stuff that happens with teenagers and how they experience life, how they treat people, how they treat themselves, it stems from home. It all starts at home. However your parents are treating you, however your parents treat each other, it's going to trickle down to how you treat yourself, how you respect yourself, how you respect others. Because if you're not seeing it at home, if you're not hearing it, if you're not getting it from home, it's not going to click anywhere else. It's just not. So we have a lot of dysfunction. We have a dysfunctional child, we have a dysfunctional teenager, we have a dysfunctional household. It's just a dysfunction junction, okay? It's just a mess. That is all I have for this video. If you like this video, be sure to like it, comment below anything that you think about Drew. Like, if you agree, do you disagree? Let's have a discussion, please. I love to talk about Degrassi, and I love to talk about psychology, and I would love to do some more like character analysis like this on this channel. So until next time, stay magical. Bye.